Good morning, audience. On behalf of the Rescuing Our Communities agenda and mission to educate and empower people with regard to your civil rights and your parental rights, I am Clayton here with a hopefully very informative broadcast into your rights as a father and what you can do, and what you can do if your rights are violated by the family court of whatever state you are in. Um, so briefly, really quick, I'm sorry, I always got to do this with my security settings. I keep forgetting to, I guess, alter the, you know what I'm trying to say. I keep forgetting to alter the restream feed so that it stops lowering my security settings whenever that I actually log on. But it's really nothing I can do about that, people. So I'm just gonna do my best to absolutely just work around it like I do every day because it kind of throws me off in the beginning. Um, so the purpose today is to one announce my win over the Brooklyn Family Court, which people, oh my God, it felt so good. It felt good to sit in this court and these scumbag, disgusting court officials know that they lost. It felt so damn good. My child's mother's racist lawyer, this racist cracker, didn't even want to answer the phone and didn't want to answer my emails because I had actually settled the case myself with my child's mother. How did I do that, people? I just went to her with all the evidence I had. I went to her with all the evidence I had, and I said, hey, listen, hold on, let me get this done. Let me get this done so I can give you guys my total attention because today should be pretty informative for the single dads out there. It should be very informative. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now basically what happened is I went to my child. The first thing I did was I got the order of protection dismissed because I realized that I had to get the order of protection dismissed. The order of protection what was stopping me, excuse me, from actually contacting my child's mother and trying to work this out some way. So that's the first thing I did was I realized that I needed to get the order of protection out of the way. Um, and I did. I put in a motion. I put in what's called an order to show cause, and I asked the court to in the court and my child's attorney to show cause before the court that the allegations within the initial domestic violence or family court petition were actually family offenses against me. People, it freaking worked. People, I put this order to show cause in. I asked the judge and my child's mother to show cause before the court to establish the fact that the allegations in my original complaint were allegations against me and substantiated violations to the New York Domestic Violence Act. People, I go to court. It turns out I'm right. The allegations were made against my ex-girlfriend who hit my child. My child's mother took me to court because I never reported my ex to the cops for child abuse, people. Now, because the Brooklyn Family Court is so corrupt and wanted to keep the litigation going, although the mother reported this and there was an investigation order that determined the mother was telling the truth in her report, my ex-girlfriend was never arrested, never charged, and these scumbag officials in the court just to keep the litigation going and keep themselves paid. Remember, people, I told you that what they kept doing is prosecuting me. They disregarded the fact that my ex-girlfriend assaulted the child, that I had an order of protection against the child, and I had an order of protection. I mean, not the child, my ex-girlfriend, for myself and my daughter. And I had won multiple cases against her, and I could literally prove that my ex-girlfriend had been stalking me for 2 years. The family court of Brooklyn did everything in their power to disregard this fact and keep the litigation going. Now, in the beginning, this kind of worked for my child's mother because she hated my guts, because truth is, she was jealous of my ex-girlfriend. She was mad that I chose my ex-girlfriend to be with. And from what she actually says, and I have this on tape, my child's mother was so hurt by the fact that I was with my ex-girlfriend that her and my ex-girlfriend teamed up to destroy me. They would call each other while I was being falsely arrested to talk about what I was wearing and how they was going to get me and when they was going to file a police report. People, forgive me for saying this, but these two bitches tried to destroy me, people. It was crazy, people. So I had to listen to my child's mother tell me this. I had to listen to her tell me this, people. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was enraged. But I had to shut up, people. Do you know why I had to shut up? Because I had to let her finish telling me the story. And I had to basically, I had to hold it, people. I had to shut up and I had to just listen to this woman as she told me everything that was going on. and I had to accept it to a point so I could retain it and realize what I could do with the information she was giving me. So I did, people. I did the best I could. I listened. I calmly sat there and just tried to accept the fact that this woman was admitting to me that she had lied through her teeth on me with my ex-girlfriend Francina Evans, and the two of them had tried to destroy me. And people, it hurt me because I had never. I don't personally. I know for a fact. I'm not even going to say I feel. I know that I didn't do anything to either of these women so severe that they would want to do this to me. Like, people, I didn't understand it. I did not understand why these two women had teamed up to fucking destroy me because I simply didn't want to be with them. But this is what my child's mother told me. She said, I was angry with you. I made a mistake, Clayton. I'm sorry. She said, this girl called me up and she was saying all this crazy stuff about you trying to take my daughter out of the country with her. And my whole understanding of this was like, Shorty, are you stupid? Why would you even believe something like this? Like, what would make you actually believe that I did this? Like, wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better for you just to be like, something? Or wouldn't she have had the common sense, excuse me, because that's what it really boils down to is common sense. You would think this woman had had the common sense to say, wait a minute, I got a child by this dude, and this girl is doing everything in her power to stop him from seeing the child. Maybe she's mad at the fact that he actually has a kid and she just doesn't want him taking care of his kid. Or people, that was the truth, and I can prove it. My ex-girlfriend was so mad that I had a kid that she couldn't even tell her family the truth, which is that I had had a woman pregnant the entire time I was dating her. And she knew that the baby was coming. Me and my ex-girlfriend did not kiss or do anything before I told her about my child. I told her, listen, while we were even talking like friends, I said, damn, I think I got this girl pregnant and she's going to have a baby. And she was like, you sure it's yours? I said, I'm not sure it's mine. I have to wait till the baby come out. I even tried to pay for a prenatal DNA test, people. Them shits is expensive. Them shits is like $3,000, $4,000. And it's basically when they stick a needle into the woman's stomach and they retract DNA from the child so they can compare it to the mother and the father. Now, my child's mother would not consent to that. So people, I had to go the whole cycle. I had to wait 9 months to find out if this child was mine. The entire time I waited, my ex-girlfriend knew about this baby. She knew while we were on vacation in Florida. I actually told her, because people, it's crazy. When you got kids, I believe when your child comes into the world, there is a psychological and there is a link created between you and that child where you can feel that child. I remember being in Tampa, Florida with my ex-girlfriend, and I was just sitting there one day. And this feeling came over me. And I said, yo, I wonder if that girl had that baby. So my ex looks at me and she was like, what? And I was like, yo, I wonder if that girl had that baby. Because some funny shit, I just felt some real funny shit. And it made me think about that baby. She says, well, she blocked you. Don't worry about it. I said, what? I was like, you're bugging. I cannot turn my back on no kid or no woman who had a baby by me. I had no children. And my mother had just died. The people who know me know the type of woman my mother was, and she would be horribly disappointed in me if I abandoned the child I had. I could not do that. So people, I waited till I got back to New York, and I took the steps necessary to track this woman down and find out if my child was mine. Once I found out my child was mine, people, immediately I assumed the responsibility. I went to my child's mother's house. I wouldn't even hold my daughter before the DNA test told me she was mine. Some people might not understand that, but I'm going to explain. Women lie to men all the time and tell men that they're the father of kids that they find out later they're not. So why should I pick this baby up and establish that emotional connection, believing this child is mine, only to get a DNA test back that tells me, no, brother, she ain't yours. So I would not touch that baby. I would not kiss that baby. And I don't feel bad about this, people. I would not do anything to my daughter until the DNA test told me she was mine. So once the DNA test came in, and I saw the results, which was a undeniable 99.999999987% the child was mine. I immediately got in my car. I drove to Brooklyn to my child's mother's house. I called her. I said, can I come see the baby? She said, oh, you got the results, huh? I said, yes, I did. I came upstairs, and that was the first time I picked up my child. I'd never picked up my child before that DNA test told me that baby was mine. But once the DNA test told me my daughter was mine, people, I had to step up. So I tried. I took care of my child. I started picking up on weekends, and my ex-girlfriend hated this shit. Because the truth is, she lived in her own fantasy world. So in order with her crazy ass controlling family, her mother and her grandmother wouldn't be cool that the man she was with had a child that wasn't hers. This is why me and my ex-girlfriend broke up, people. It had nothing to do with domestic violence. It was because of my daughter. And the sad part is the advocates of Staten Island who helped this woman try to destroy me and take my kids. That's what you did. Me and Francina Evans broke up because of Dior Smith, my child. Because Francina did not have the strength and the courage to step up to her grandmother and her mother and tell these two women that I had a child that was not hers. Instead, she lied to them. She told them that she didn't know anything about it and I had a baby on her behind her back, people, which was a complete lie, people. So I think about a year or so ago, I actually paid a recording with my ex-girlfriend's grandmother, admitting that my ex-girlfriend lied about my daughter. Lied and told her grandmother that I had a baby on her. She didn't know anything about it. People, that was a freaking lie. And that's why I had to end my relationship. The phone call that I have played that's actually on SoundCloud with my ex's grandmother, people, if you listen to the phone call and the breakup, they literally right after each other. The grandmother told me she lied about my daughter and all the stuff she said. I told the grandmother on the phone, well, I'm going to do you and your daughter a favor, which is my ex Francine's mother. I said, I'm going to break up with her right now. The grandmother told me, well, you don't need to be with my grandbaby. I said, you know something, old lady? I don't. Matter of fact, people, like I said, I'm a real one, people. I'm not a liar because I've been called a liar by so many deplorable, disgusting ass lying women on Staten Island, people, that I'm not him. So what I'm going to do right now, because I like to correlate things with what actually happened, I'm going to play it. Where's Maxine at? Let's find Maxine. Where you go, Maxine, you piece of shit. Maxine Foy. There we go. So Laura doesn't want me with her because I don't talk to Laura because Laura did something to me and I stopped talking to her. When you love people and you value them, if you hurt them, you have no problem saying apology. All I can say is, Francina, I'm telling you, I don't think that you're a good match. That's all right, no problem. That's how you feel? You feel that way based on things she told you that I didn't even know. No, there's no talk. That's okay. We don't talk about you. Okay. It's how you act. When you treat her. How do I treat her? You treat her. How am I treating her? The way you treat her. She's like somebody you put in the closet somewhere. You take her out when you want to. Really? How do I do that? Yeah. I don't know how you see, people? This was the lie that I had to live through. This is what this woman did. Lie to her family. Now, the people who knew me while I dated this woman, you saw her with me all the time. So how was I trying to hide Francina from my personal life? The truth of the matter was it was about my daughter. And this sick old bitch and her crusty ass daughter, who is Francina's mother, literally started working to destroy our relationship because they were jealous and mad at the fact that I had a child. Now, see, people, here's the truth. If my ex had been a real one and a strong woman and even a confident enough woman to control her own life, what her mother and grandmother said wouldn't have mattered because I had been honest with her. I never lied to her. She knew I didn't want my child's mother. She knew my only mission was to take care of my child. She saw I was genuine, people. I wasn't going behind her back. I wasn't spending nights with my daughter's mother. I wasn't getting secret text messages from my daughter's mother and shit like that. People, I didn't want nothing to do with my child. I was sending my child's mother money and picking her up on the weekend. Literally, that was my relationship with my child, and my ex-girlfriend fucking hated it. She used to tell me my daughter's mother was using me and all of this other stuff. It was so crazy, people, that I had a life insurance policy where my mother was the beneficiary. Many people know my mother passed away a couple of years ago, so that I had to name a beneficiary for the policy just in case something happened to me. Now, Francina's grandmother and her mother wanted me to name her. People, I had been dating this crusty bitch 6 months. Why would I leave $1 million life insurance policy to a girl I was dating 6 months when I had a daughter? They didn't agree with that, people, because I wouldn't leave my life insurance policy to her. They started saying I didn't care about her. You sit and people, it's on that recording. I just played. I just don't want to sit here and play the whole recording. It's actually on that recording. The grandmother tells me because I don't want to leave Francina my life insurance, she has property of her own, so she'll leave it to Francina. I don't have to worry about taking care of Francina. You old crusty bitch. I want to leave this to my daughter. And you're sitting here mad because I won't give it to your granddaughter who I've been dating less than a year, am not married to, have no children by. And truthfully, I don't even want to be with her because she's a weak ass coward that can't stand up to you. But I should leave her my life insurance policy because that's what you feel a real man would do. No, that's what you want me to do because you're a manipulative old piece of shit. That's the truth, people. That's what the Evans family is. At least the Evans women, Francina and her grandmother. Let me not talk about all of them because every apple in the bag is not rotten. So I don't want to sit there and keep talking about the family like it's the entire family because I don't know the entire family. I only know bitch ass, punk ass Breton, you faggot. And yes, I called you that publicly. I can't. Oh God, I gotta stay away from Breton people because I really want to break Breton fucking jaw. I only went through this with Brett. I only went through all the hell I went through with Francina Evans because her punk ass brother was too much of a coward to tell the truth. Matthew, you a bitch. You only try to fight me in court. I know you don't want no smoke. You already know I'll beat flames out you. I've tried to work out a structured fight with you that you have declined because you're a coward. So it is what it is. But people, at the end of the day, everything that happened was not because it was domestic violence. A lot of people got tricked. They got lied to because my ex-girlfriend has such a homegirl appearance that they just believed she was telling the truth. Some of the people who helped her were actually in really strong political positions on Staten Island. Not only that, I knew them, and my late mother knew these people. These people that knew me knew that I don't beat no damn women. They knew that I had somewhat of a temper, and I might curse you out. But the worst I would do is curse you out if you're a woman. I'm not hitting you. You know what I'm saying? But I would curse you out if you get out of line. I'm sorry, ladies. If you get out of line, I'm gonna check you. Listen, you need to get the fuck out of here. Who you talking to? And I don't have a problem doing that. Not saying I have a lack of respect for women because I do. I had a mother who was a minister for 30 years of my life. And although I might not have been I wasn't a perfect child all the time, people, but I definitely have a respect for women. I had a strong Black woman as a mother whose influence weighs heavily on me, more so now than any of the time I was with her when she lived, which hurts me, but she would be proud of the person I've become now instead of the person I was back then. I'm 100% sure of that, because the person I am now is not the person I was back then. The person I am now, my mother would have loved the nigga I am now as compared to the person I was back then. I wasn't a bad person, but I could have been better. And she knew that. So she always was on top of me. Clayton, you could do better. Clayton, you could do better. Clayton, why are you doing this? You're too smart to do that. I know you like money, but you shouldn't do that. That's what my mother used to do to me. And I didn't want to listen to her, people, because I thought, I thought that the church thing she was on was just controlling her to an extent where she just didn't see the world for the way it was. And I still agree with that. I don't think my mother truly saw the world for the way it was. This is why she allowed manipulative bastards like Victor Brown and Debbie Rose and Camilla Hanks and all these scumbag fake political position people on Staten Island to use her because of the light that was in her. My mother had a light that she exhibited that other people in prominent positions, they went to her, they gravitated her. Low-level, disgusting-ass advocates who truly advocate for power by manipulating the community, like Victor Allen Brown, like Camilla Hanks, they all went to Reverend Howard so they could be seen next to Reverend Howard and people would think that they were honest people. Victor did it all the time after he cheated on his wife and stole from his church. Victor Brown lived in Stapleton Church after Sandra Dukes left him. He lived there, people. And he actually made sexual passes towards my late mother, which me and her were laughing about in the office. So you cheat on her best friend. You violate the marriage with my mother's best friend, a woman's like a sister to her, and you actually think you're gonna come in her church and charm her and game her into dating you, you scumbag pussy ass dude. And yes, Pastor Brown, you know I'm not lying. You used to come to Stapleton Church, sit in my mother's office and flirt with her when she was ministering to you about the fact that you violated your fucking marriage. And that's a fact, because I used to sit outside the door, listen to you, and then when you left, I would go in the office and be like, Mom, why was Victor flirting with you? And she would break out laughing at your sorry ass, you scumbag dude. That's the truth. People, my mission has become twofold. One, it is to educate and empower others who may have gone through the trauma and the fucked up situation I went through. Because domestic violence is real. Intimate partner stalking is real. Corruption and hypocrisy is fucking real. When a prosecutor wants to destroy you, all they have to do, people, is create a good narrative, like an author. What they do is they create a story. That's all a criminal complaint is. A criminal complaint is like a good lawsuit. It's a story. It basically alleges what somebody did, and then it applies the statutory context of either state or federal law to how they violated you. And this is what prosecutors do. This is why prosecutors, withhold evidence. This is why they manipulate evidence. This is how they set innocent people up to go to jail for decades, because all they do is create a narrative that a jury will believe so they can put you in jail, and the paperwork becomes so complex that unless you have an understanding of the law, you'll never get out of it. So, people, this is what happened to me. I won an order of protection, and this racist, scumbag, unethical, bitch ass detective by the name of Joseph Quirk from the 120 precinct decided that a nigga like me didn't deserve an order of protection. So, what he did was take an allegation, because that's all it was. It had not been proven. It had been closed. It was opened in another precinct when my ex-girlfriend filed the complaint a year before the complaint against me was filed in the 120 precinct. It was closed by that detective from the other precinct because the detective from the other precinct discovered the truth that my ex-girlfriend was lying and she was using social media to lie and defame me. And this is what happened. So this detective from the other precinct calls me up, and he's the one who told me to come to the 123 precinct with all the evidence that I was the dog's owner and that my ex was lying and stole the dog to file charges on. I would have never filed charges on my ex-girlfriend if Detective Koval from the 123 precinct hadn't called me and told me that Laura Owens and Francina Evans were lying on me to the police, and that I needed to get myself to the police station before I ended up in jail. People, it was not easy for me to go to that police station because the truth was I thought they was going to arrest me when I got there. I called Francina. Francina lied and told me it was her mother. She had nothing to do with it. Her mother was doing this. Now, people, I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is your mother filing police reports on me when I stay away from your mother? I don't go nowhere near your mother. I don't talk to your mother. I don't want nothing to do with this lying ass lady. Why is this lady so obsessed with me? See, the truth was that Laura Owens knew that Francina was in love with me. And the fact that her daughter was in love with me, she was going to lose her daughter because Francina was going to move out the house. The grandmother and the mother don't want that. People, it's on the recording on my phone. The grandmother and the mother did not want Francina to move out the house. They literally lied and did everything they could to manipulate that weak bitch into turning on me. And that's exactly what Francina did for her mommy and her nanny. She started lying on me to the cops. She robbed me and stole that dog. And then she did everything in her power to use the dog and the fact she assaulted my child to force me into talking to her for 6 months. Brenton Evans, her brother, is a witness to this. People, I had text message, I have recordings, I can prove what I'm saying. So the whole point behind my thing is that what happened to me with my ex-girlfriend is why I ended up in family court fighting for the right to raise my child. My ex assaulted my child. People, I loved my ex. That's the God's honest truth. I did not want to destroy her by blowing her up for being a fucking child abuser. So I hit it. This crazy ass chick decides to contact the mother of the child because a judge in New Jersey, which I have shown people, ordered her to return my dog. So she's pissed. She decides to call up the mother of my child and dry snitch on herself about the abuse. The mother of my daughter ain't stupid. She realizes that I lied to her all those months ago about the injuries my child had. Now she leans on me. People, what am I supposed to do? I can't lie no more for my ex when this stupid ass girl told on herself. So, people, I had to tell the truth. I tell the truth. Suddenly now I'm lying on her. People, this would have never happened if this girl never contacted the child's mother. That's what Melissa Thomas, that's what the Staten Island DA's office, that's what Safe Horizon, that's what the detective squad of the 120 and 123 precinct, that's what they have hidden from the public. The fact that my ex-girlfriend is the one who created her own investigation into child abuse by contacting the mother and telling the mother that I lied about the injuries of the child 6 months ago. People, I did lie about the injuries of the child to protect her stupid ass from going to jail. She was so bitter and angry and so desperate for revenge and so hurt that I ended the relationship and embarrassed her that she wanted to strip me of my custody of my child because she felt that I was stripping her of the daughter we had, which was the dog, Little Shorty. Where you at, Little Shorty? Oh, she's sleeping. I got Shorty with me. She's sleeping. She thinks I'm taking her daughter, our child, the dog. People, a dog is not your fucking baby. As much as you might want to think that, a dog is a dog, people. You got to pay for a good dog. And I paid $3,000 for Little Shorty and I had a receipt. So guess what? The dog was mine. People, I'm not a grimy dude. I actually went and bought my ex a dog, which is crazy because I didn't want her so miserable, people. And I didn't want anyone to, I did so much trying to be considerate to break up with this girl so people would not hate me, yo. And I'm going to even prove it because I brought this woman a dog, literally. I bought her this black Cavapoo right here that I ended up giving to a friend of mine who moved to Turkey. because my ex-girlfriend refused it. The dog has a diaper on, people. It's fucking cool. She's a girl. She had a period. So my friend here, what he does is his family, so the dog don't leak period blood all over the couch. They bought little diapers like for babies and cut a hole for the tail. So now the dog literally goes around the house with this diaper or whatever the fuck the dog's having a period. It's hilarious, people. But anyway, that's Little Pep. Little Pep is the dog I purchased for my ex-girlfriend just to give her the peace to move on. I have been betrayed as such a liar, people, as such a jealous, bitter ex-boyfriend. But people, if you really look at my actions, all my actions were legitimate, people. I did nothing to hurt this woman. I bought her a dog to give her peace. When I won the order of protection, people, I can prove it. I contacted prosecutors in New Jersey and New York and told them to drop her charges because I had the order of protection. I did this in less than 12 hours after she was convicted to let her go live her life, people. I wasn't after her. I didn't care if she was fucking whoever she was fucking. I didn't care. I just wanted her to stay away from me and let me do me. No, people, what my ex-girlfriend did was in 72 hours, 3 days, she goes into a precinct on Staten Island and she lies on me and says the charges were from the conviction she just got in New Jersey are false. And this racist piece of shit by the name of Joseph Quirk, a detective from the 120 precinct, decides to put an I-card on me, which is the detention card, even though he knew that 72 hours before Francine Evans's report, I had won a complete no contact, full restraining order against her in the state of New Jersey, and she had violated federal domestic violence law. But Joseph Quirk didn't care because he thought I was an ignorant nigga that would never be able to prove that he lied on me. You stupid racist bastard, you were wrong because I can prove it and I'm going to fucking decimate. People, I want justice against this detective. He falsified a complaint against me and the people. If he did that to Clayton Howard, if he took a complaint from somewhere else and falsified it and used it to infuse in his accusatory instrument to get me locked up, people, imagine how many other black men he's done that to on Staten Island. See, that's the truth, people. That's the real reason that I'm fighting these people. Because I know that if they did this to me for a simple domestic violence offense, can you imagine how many black men on Staten Island they've done this to? How many people sitting up north, sitting on Rikers Island, sitting in the tombs, facing cases facing cases on Staten Island when cops are manipulating evidence and prosecutors are falsifying narratives. No, people, not fucking Clayton. I'm going to say something. I don't care if they don't like me. I don't care if they want to set me up, people. Unless they kill me, they're not going to silence me because guess what, people? I'm telling the truth. And the truth has such a way of beating racism, of beating injustice, of beating corruption, people. That's how you beat racism, corruption, bias, manipulation. You beat it with the truth. Now, the truth is not as strong as a lie. People, a lie will grow legs and run halfway around the world before a motherfucker even realizes it might be a lie. The truth takes time. The truth takes evidence. And the more people hate you, the more people want to see you fall, the more you're going to need to prove your truth in order to get out of the situation you're in. Because once people are against you, once a narrative takes hold, once a narrative grows legs, people, you're done. You don't stand a chance once a narrative grows legs to work against you unless you A, have a great deal of patience, B, have a hell of a lot of evidence, and C, trust and believe that God will get you through it if you keep your composure and you stay down. You got to stay down, people. It's like they say, you got to stay down and come up. And the only way you're gonna come up when someone lies on you, if you can manage the storm well enough to get through the rough tides, people. That's what my life has been 3 years, people. I have been in a constant storm at sea. And whenever I think the storm is leveling out, I get hit by a 30-foot fucking wave that takes my life up here and I have to fight for something. And it's all been caused by my ex-girlfriend. So I get in Brooklyn family court, and even though that they know this woman assaulted my child, they know that the mother's allegations are legit, and people, there's no allegation against me. They immediately strip me of my access to my child. People, this went on for the next 2.5 years. There was never an allegation against me in Brooklyn family court, people, and I vehemently fought for my child. Guess what, people? This racist ass cracker judge, and I don't even want to call her that, people, but she's a disgusting, deplorable woman, this woman, Caroline Cohen. She's in my lawsuit also, which is going to be the topic within the next minute and a half. If this disgusting judge had done the right thing, I would have never been in court for 3 years, people. I might have been in court 6 months. But the objective behind state family court is money. The lawyers get paid, the judges get paid, the court reporter get paid, the court officer get paid. So they need to keep your case going as long as they possibly can so they can get paid. It's never for the best interest of the child. They can give a fuck about the safety of the woman most of the time. The only thing they truly care about is keeping that case going so they can get paid. And you have to be smart enough to realize that the family court of whatever state you're in is a financial trap that they are trying to subject you to just to get you in the system so they can get themselves paid. People, I wasn't with that shit. I paid lawyers. The lawyers were lying to me. People, I got tired of it. So this guy is my brother, man. Shout out to you, homie. I'm gonna announce you once I get this money. We're gonna ball, baby. Trust me. This guy calls me up, a friend of mine. He said, you know something, Clay? You got some intelligence to you, brother. You need to read the law because you're gonna go broke paying these lawyers because the lawyers want you to pay them more to do what you can learn yourself. It's gonna take you some time. But at least if you know it, you might not know how to file it, but you know what to do to check these lawyers. When you're stupid, you don't know what the fuck to tell them. You got to listen to whatever they tell you because they know the process. No, people, you got to learn the process. You don't have to become a lawyer. You just have to learn to understand your situation enough that a lawyer cannot tell you everything without you knowing for a fact whether it's within your best interest. So, people, that's what I started doing. I started reading the New York State Family Court Act. I started reading the New Jersey Prevention of Domestic Violence Act. I took some legal classes. I took some writing classes. And people, I did my best to become a pro hoc. I don't want to say jailhouse lawyer because I don't want to associate anything with myself with jail. But I did my best to become a lawyer. And people, it took me about a year to become proficient enough to start arguing against these people. So people, I beat the Brooklyn Family Court. I did it. I got in court. I showed them what time it was. I said, yo, listen, you're not going to do this to me. Da, 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 da. They totally dismissed my case, and now I have joint custody. So, people, there were so many procedural due process violations that I had to sue the Brooklyn Family Court. And I'm going to tell you why I had to sue the Brooklyn Family Court right now. This is the draft. I've actually filed it, but this is my federal complaint against the Brooklyn Family Court, the City of New York, the Staten Island Richmond County Court, my child's lawyer, my daughter's mother's lawyer. My daughter's mother, I might file an amendment to remove her. I might, because you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I had to name her in this because she was such a part of this with her false reports to the family court that I said, you know what? They might try to say it's hearsay if she's not there, if she's not named as a defendant in the case. So let me just throw her up there. So anything that I allege that she did, it's not hearsay, and I'll be able to argue it effectively with the evidence I have. I don't want anything to happen to my child's mother because shit, I need my daughter to have a mother. So I draft this complaint, people, and yes, I drafted it because I was just tired of being lied to. That's just the truth. And I know that the Brooklyn Family Court has violated my procedural due process. I'm 100% positive of that, people. The 14th Amendment grants a single father, the right to raise his children. Matter of fact, let's walk through the statute. That's an easier way for you to know. See, people, I can say my mother would be proud of me now because she definitely would, that I know how to do this shit. She would be incredibly proud of me. That I know. So nobody will be able to hurt me by telling me anything about my mom because I knew my mother well enough to know how she thinks. And I know this shit would have impressed her, that her son had learned how to do this from everything that happened to him. That's what you have to do when you're violated, people. You have to become as smart or at least formidable to the people who want to hurt you. And that's what Clay did. So I sued the City of New York, and I sued them using what I have previously tried to educate my audience about, which is the Monell Doctrine. The Monell Doctrine stems from a case, Department of Social Services versus Monell. And I believe it was a case that originally was established because pregnant women were being denied maternity leave and being forced to stop working and not being paid in the City of New York, and they were teachers. One of these women got tired of this and sued the City of New York because she claimed that the City of New York had failed to adequately train officials and staff regarding the needs of pregnant women. The case was denied, of course, in the state Supreme Court, but it was appealed to the federal district court. And upon a determination, I believe it was of the second district or somewhere in the federal courts, it could have even been the Supreme Court. I think it was the Supreme Court. These women were their action was affirmed. Basically, the Supreme Court agreed that it was unconstitutional for the Board of Education to make these women take unpaid maternity leave early. It was wrong. So the city had to pay a bunch of back pay. In this case, it's like a precedent case where it allows an individual to hold the entire municipality liable for the actions of a single employee. So this is what I did, people. I drafted a complaint to sue the City of New York for the actions of the judge who was responsible for my family court case, who wrongly assigned myself and my child's mother the same lawyer and then lied on the record about it, people, that's a procedural due process. That's a huge procedural due process violation. Now, this judge could have easily looked at the paper and said, oh my God, Mr. Howard, I made such a mistake. I'm so sorry, and corrected it. But this racist white woman didn't want to do that. What she did was lie on the record and said she never did that and call me a liar and dismiss all my complaints. So, people, I'm going to mention again the power of an order to show cause. People, I filed an order to show cause, which I sent to the presiding judge of the Brooklyn Family Court with transcripts and evidence that this judge had assigned me this attorney. People, within 24 hours after I got the notification on my phone that the certified mail had been delivered to the judge, I got a call from the same judge who violated my rights by assigning me the same attorney. Her clerk asking me, was I available in 1 hour for a conference? Absolutely, because I already knew what they was calling me. So I get on the conference. The judge is pissed. She says, I remember specifically, people, she was so mad that the court reporter told her that I think my ex hadn't appeared, so they wanted to get her on the phone. She was like, no, I got to do this today. I got to get this guy out of my courtroom. This is what the judge said. So I already knew what time it was. So basically, by the end of that hearing, my daughter's mother's lawyer, who had lied to me and not revealed the fact that he was assigned to opposing counsel, that's another big procedural violation, and it's an ethical violation, and it's misconduct. An attorney cannot lie to you about representation. If they represent the other side, they can't represent you. That's a conflict of interest. But what this attorney did was lie to me and make me think that he didn't represent my child's mother so he could gather enough information to hope he could beat me later in court. Then he got to court in our hearing and he lied and said he never spoke to me. But people, this is why Clayton had learned 2 years ago to record every fucking conversation he has with anybody with any position. Even if I don't trust you in any way, I'm recording what you're saying on the phone, because it comes in handy later when a nigga try to lie about it. So this lawyer tries to lie. And at first in court, people, I'm going to be honest, I handled it like a nigga. I was mad. I was rude in court. I was like, fuck that. Y'all not going to do this to me. But once I calmed down later that day, people, I said, Clayton, you know something? Nah, you got him. File an order to show cause. So I drafted an order to show cause. I printed my phone records to prove that me and this man spoke during this month multiple times on the telephone for well over 5 minutes. I pulled up every email that I sent to this guy and his correspondence. I pulled up I ordered the transcript of the judge where the judge assigned me him. I also ordered the transcript where the judge lied on the record. And then I just sent it in this order to show cause to the presiding judge of the Brooklyn Family Court. So this corrupt judge was forced off of the trial. She had to recuse herself, and my daughter's lawyer had to recuse himself. So my daughter's mother's lawyer, had to recuse himself. So she had to get a new lawyer, and I got a new judge for the case. This happened a year and a half ago, people. So now I get a new judge for the case, and the new judge for the case is just as fucked up as the other judge for the case, but she's just actually more attractive. This new judge is beautiful. Oh my God, she's gorgeous. But anyway, beautiful hair too. I'm a hair guy. I love beautiful hair. So anyway, I'm looking at this judge, and I thought at first she was dope, but it's probably because she was so attractive. You know, I've always had a weakness for attractive women, and I've later learned that they're pieces of shit most of the time, because attractive women can be pieces of shit, guys. Just because they're beautiful people don't mean they have beautiful souls. That's the truth. So I go in, the judge does the same thing. The judge starts trying to deny me my procedural due process, and it's because I'm filing complaints against the court and the lawyers for the things they've done. It's because I'm actually fighting for my 14th Amendment rights and quoting case law and statute in the court. No, Your Honor, this court can't deny me my constitutional right to raise my child as it relates to the 14th Amendment, because I have gone above and beyond to support my child and be a part of her life. And that's the only criteria for the protection of the 14th Amendment's right to raise your child, is that you have to actively be in that child's life and making an effort. People, I made an effort. I paid for a DNA test. I was providing for my child. I was buying her clothes. I was picking her up every weekend. People, I was being a father. Why was the court taking me away from my child when there was no allegation against me that I assaulted the child? It was against my ex-girlfriend, made by the mother, who basically confirmed that there was injuries on the child. Why is Brooklyn Family Court denying me access to my child? Because I didn't say anything? That doesn't make sense, people. You have to give me access to my child. So this judge does everything in her power, people, to try to stop me. She violates my procedural due process. I put in motion. She's scheduling motions while I'm not even available, like when I was in Colombia, and I told the court I wasn't available. They scheduled a motion behind my back and dismissed my motion. Now, people, legally, you have to give me a chance to appear for the motion. This is why, if you've ever been in court, the judge and counsel will spend 5-10 minutes just trying to coordinate dates so everybody is on the same page. You can't have respect for counsel's time, the judge's time, but not me as a litigant. No, people. If I'm applying for my own motions and if I'm handling my own acts, I'm basically a pro hoc lawyer, or what's known as a pro se lawyer. I have the same rights as an attorney, although I don't have the legality to do it to other people. With myself before a judge, I have the same rights as an attorney, which means the court has to respect my time and my schedule when appearing for motions. If I put in a motion and I ask not to be called after a certain date, because every motion is heard on the calendar, the judge has to respect that. What this judge did was call me when she knew that I was unavailable, traveling through the mountains of Colombia, and then she dismissed my order. So, people, I wasn't having that shit. I filed a lawsuit against him. The lawsuit I filed against him is what you see before you here. It alleges violations to my procedural due process in the Brooklyn Family Court. It alleges violations to my rights to raise my child. It alleges systematic discrimination. It alleges gender bias. And people, I have a valid case against the Kings County Court because they did this. They totally lied through their teeth. They did everything in their power to deny me access to my child when there was never a criminal allegation or an allegation that I hurt my child, which is the primary criteria in order for a court to be able to restrict your access to the child. In order for a court to be able to restrict your access to a child, men and women out there has to be evidence that you have put that child in danger in some way. Otherwise, they have to grant you access to the child, even if it's scheduled visitation. They have to give you the right to see your child. The only way they can strip you of that right and give you supervised visitation if there's an allegation on you that says you're violent or you have put the child at risk. People, there was no violation ever made against me. The mother never said I tried to hurt her. The mother never accused me of assaulting my child. She accused Francina Evans. So why was the Brooklyn Family Court so determined to keep me away from my child? Because I was a black man. And their mission is to keep minorities subjected to this system and basically, I want to say, subject us to legal orders of the court. The family, child, or what do you call it? Child support. Child support is just an order the court puts on you so they can control you. Family court, when they grant you a separation, when they grant you a joint custody agreement, when they grant you a settlement agreement, that's just paperwork that now they're in your life so they can control you. And literally, this is what they did to me for 3 years. So, people, I became so legally savvy that maybe, I want to say January. It happened January because I got the order of protection my daughter's mother put on me dismissed in October. I mean, not October, December. So I would say January is when it happened. In January, I decided to myself, you know something, Clayton? Why don't you file a civil action against me? So I did. I drafted this complaint while I was in Colombia. That's why I love Colombia so much, people. I was able to get a mountain of work done in Colombia in peace. I didn't have to worry about the racist ass police coming to my house. I wasn't afraid of my fucking ex-girlfriend, Francina Evans, lying on me because I was out of the country. How could she do anything to me or lie on me if I'm in Colombia? She can't. So, people, I wasn't afraid of her. I wasn't afraid of none of that. My brain was clear. The fruit was great. The water was good, people. Clayton's brain was flowing. And Clayton created a fucking masterpiece right here in a lawsuit against the Kings County Family Court for civil rights violations committed against me when it denied me access to my child for over 2.5 years for no allegation against me. That's the key. Now, I might just seem like an incredibly litigious gentleman now. And I am, people, because I've learned a new way to fight. I like to fight people. I used to fight people all the time. Hand to hand, let's go. You got to become a man one day, people. Life is not about fighting men all the time. You damn sure can't fight people nowadays. You'll end up in jail over the civil suit. So I'm thankful to the people who went against me for lying on me, because all they did was give me a new set of skills that I can use to fight them back. See, people, if you're looking at my lawsuit here, you see deliberate indifference. I don't want to read it all. Here's the case law to cite exactly what I'm saying. You see the remedies sought. I'm suing them for $5 million. $5 million. I'm not playing, people. And this lawsuit is valid. I have transcripts. They did every word of this. That's the key to a lawsuit, people. Anybody can make an allegation, but you're going to have to prove that allegation before a judge. And the only way to prove that allegation before a judge is what's called discovery and evidence. If you don't have no evidence, if your evidence is weak, if your evidence is in piecemeal or your doctrine evidence, all the opposing party has to do is show the entire picture. And if the entire picture hints that you're lying, you're gonna lose. See, people, me, I don't show pieces of pictures. I show the whole fucking thing. If I'm telling the judge that I had an argument with my ex-girlfriend and there was things said, I don't just show the judge that one little paragraph. Excuse me. No, I show the judge the entire week, so the judge can see literally what happened and know that the person who's telling them this story might be lying, because that's the truth, people. You have to establish a lack of credibility in the court in order to beat people who are more credible than you. A lot of times that the judges, they're gonna work, if the judge knows or supports the other person, they're gonna work against you. But the beautiful part about a court is everything is done on the record. And judges don't want to be called out later for allegations that they were visibly discriminatory or prejudiced in the court, because they will never become a judge again. This is what I learned, people. So I started ordering transcripts to hold these motherfuckers accountable. I don't go in court no more and tell a judge what they said to me. You know what I say? I wait during the hearing. I say, okay, Your Honor, no problem. Let's schedule another hearing. I don't even tell them what I'm going to do. And you know what I do during those hearings? I go home, I order a transcript, I peel through the transcript, I find out what the judge says, and then I file paperwork on the judge. Guess what, people? That shit has been incredibly effective. That's how you fight a judge. You have to catch that judge doing something procedurally wrong on the record, and that's where you start, people. So this is how Clayton learned how to fight judges and magistrates. You get the record of the court, and if the record of the court that comes out of that judge's mouth is different than the statutory or case law definition of why you're there, that judge has a problem. So I did this in the Brooklyn Family Court, people, back in February. I go to court in March. Whole different energy in the court, people. They finally treat a nigga with some respect. I'm like, that's what's up, people. I walk in court. They're like, hello, Mr. Howard. How are you? I'm well. How are you? Fine, sir. Let's get down to business because we really want to help you. Sure. So, people, as I sit there, my child's lawyer, the scum she is, she tries to sit back and tell me, you know, you filed an action against the court, and some of this has been your fault because you've been disruptive. Bitch, you're wrong. No matter how disruptive you are in court, the court does not have the right to take your child without evidence. People, I'm disruptive in court because you're violating my civil rights and I'm being lied on, people. I didn't have an attorney because I went broke and my attorney quit. And guess what? The court wouldn't even grant me an attorney for over a year, people. This is what compelled me to go to learn the law. The court was refusing to grant me an attorney and kept rescheduling me, trying to get me to just cop out to whatever my daughter's mother was saying. So, people, I had no choice but to learn the fucking law for my baby, and I did. So I go to court this time in March, and they're so nice to me. I was shocked. But back to what I was saying about my child's lawyer. My child's lawyer comes and says, you know, it's some of you, and I said, no, it's not. It was you. You're the one who never completed the investigation into the assault of my child, which the mother made allegations for. You claim to work for the best interest of my child. Why has no action been taken on the allegations of the mother, which were proven to be substantiated because the mother's telling the truth? Why has nothing been done? Yeah, bitch, you don't know because you've been so focused in attacking the black father that you haven't done anything about what happened and what the mother said. People, they sitting there looking at me because this was another judge this day, and they said, Mr. Howard, we're going to grant you visitation right now, immediate visitation. I said, well, that's nice, but you don't have to because I've already reached out to the mother of my child and made her an offer she can't refuse, and it's not a threat. I basically showed her all the discovery against her, and I've given her an option. I told her she can either agree to give me my access to my child back, and I'll drop all of this, and I'll let her be a mother, I'll be a father, and we'll raise our child the best we can together in agreement and try not to hate each other. Or she can lie through her teeth. I'm going to take her to trial. I'm going to use the recordings and the evidence I showed her, which people would have destroyed her before the family court of Brooklyn. She would have never won the trial against me. Never. She would have never won a trial against me. She would have lost full custody of her daughter, and she knew it. So what she said to herself is she said, Clayton, you know something? I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. She said, your ex-girlfriend called me. She started lying, saying that you beat her, that you raped her, all this stuff. She sound believable, Clay. Like, what was I supposed to say? She said, I didn't know Shorty, but she sounds so believable, and I hated you so much, I was confused. So I listened to her, and she starts telling me everything that happened. Now, see, people, I'm glad she confessed. That takes maturity. It shows that she's growing as a person, as a woman. I can dig that. What I can't dig is the fact that after she went to court and confessed, the court wouldn't do nothing. People, what type of bullshit is that? You got a woman who comes into court, admits she lied on the father, and she's been working with the very woman who assaulted her child to get revenge on the father, but you won't do nothing to the woman. You keep telling the man that he has to go through all of these loops for his child, but the woman has just confessed to lying to this court for the man for the last 3 years. People, I got out of that hearing. I immediately filed the federal civil action against Ruka because I had drafted the complaint. I just never filed it. But once I got out of that hearing at the end of March, I believe it was, or the first week of February, I think it was one. It might have been February. I think it was February 3rd. Once I got out of that hearing, people, the first thing I did was file a notice of claim with the city of New York for $1.5 million based off this lawsuit. Now, the city of New York is not going to grant me that because these officials are going to lie. So what I did was just file the federal complaint, and I'm effectuating service now. Now, the thing about this is filing a complaint against the city of New York, I had to summarize this lawsuit into an actual written, what do they call it? I guess you can call it a complaint. Written notice of claim against the city. I had to summarize my allegations into a notice of claim with the city so they knew why I was suing them and what I was alleging. Now, the city of New York is notorious for settling cases. I don't want my case just settled with $100,000 or $200,000. Nah, people, that's not what this is about. This is about exposing the corruption within that damn court so things change. Because men and women deserve the unrestricted right to their child without corrupt officials restricting your access to your child and not allowing you to be there for your child. People, my daughter's autistic. You know how much I could have done for my daughter in the last 2 damn years if I had been a part of her life? Because people, I knew. Her mother didn't know. Her mother was the one in denial. Her father wasn't. Her father saw her lack of attention and the things she was doing that made me question her. Now, people, I tried to do the right thing for my kid. My daughter's mother lied on me and denied me 2 years of my child's life where I could have helped her. And the court is going to sit here now and not do nothing? Oh, you think that you got some ignorant nigga that's just going to let you get away with this, and people, you wrong. You don't. So I sue them. I go into court. They immediately grant me part of my parental access, and I get my daughter. That's why I've had her every weekend for like 2.5 months now. So when I go in court yesterday, everything finally is done. The case is over, people. I got a settlement agreement. My child's lawyer, of course, agreed. My child's lawyer, of course, agreed to the settlement agreement. My child's mother's lawyer, however, admitted on the record that he's a fucking racist, people. Thank you. I'm suing you because I think you're a racist. And your dumb white ass actually got so mad you went on the record and said, yeah, I'm a racist. So what? Thank you, white man. Thank you for admitting that shit. So people, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get what I want out of this lawsuit because the attorney that I'm suing literally just admitted to the fact that he was racially prejudiced against me in the court hearing yesterday because he was so mad. You dumbass cracker. People, you got to stay strong, man. You know, you can't allow the negativity, the weight that people put against you, trying to hurt you, trying to lie on you, trying to defame you. You can't really allow that to affect you. Because if you do, people, you know what's going to happen? You're going to lose, people. And at the end of the day, when you lose, what the hell is this? Oh, at the end of the day, when you lose, people, you only lose by yourself. You got to stay calm. You got to learn your rights. And people, the best thing you can ever do is educate yourself on your civil rights. Don't rely on a lawyer. You rely on a lawyer to do everything for you, you're going to lose because unless you pay that lawyer enough that he devotes himself to you, you're never going to get 100% of them. They can't give you 100% in fairness to them because a lawyer is a business. He has numerous clients. Unless you are paying him enough to support his lifestyle where he singularly works for you, you're a damn fool to think that attorney is going to go all out for you. It's impossible, people. They can only give you a fraction of themselves because they're splitting themselves amongst numerous people. You just have to accept it. It's not personal. They're not doing it to hurt you. It's business. It's their job. So I learned it was their job. I got tired of supporting people who weren't helping me, and I learned the law well enough to fight and win against the family court. I make these broadcasts for anyone who goes through the same thing as me. Anyone who has been lied on, anyone whose parental rights have been attacked, anyone who has just been done wrong by people who should have done you better. I make these broadcasts for you, people. It's not about fighting them back. The worst thing you can do is become uncouth, angry, and disruptive. What you have to do is learn how to address these people so you can beat them in a platform, in an arena that they understand, which is the court. You don't have to be as sharp as I'm trying to think of somebody. You don't have to be as sharp as anybody's attorney. You don't have to be. You can be less skilled than the average basic attorney and still win if you know your rights. It's not about being so superior and memorizing case law. People, it's just about knowing what they can and they cannot do to you and being sure about it. As long as you're sure about it, they'll never beat you. So it's been an hour, people. I expected to do more, but I'm not. I just wanted to lightly come on today and discuss a few things, let people know that the fight is still going, that I'm still actively involved, and that I am continually working to create a platform where I can constantly educate people so they don't have to experience the nightmare I experienced. Domestic violence and intimate partner stalking is real, people. Do not minimize anyone's claims that they have an ex-partner who is obsessed with them and stalking them. Because people, it's real, people. I can personally tell my audience this because I've lived with it. I've lived as a victim of intimate partner stalking for the last 4 years. I've been stalked between the states of New Jersey and New York for 3.5 years by my ex-girlfriend, who has lied through every person she can to try to destroy my credibility, reputation, and destroy my life, people. And I have had to fight damn hard to at least obtain some of the results that I've obtained that have been able to stop this woman, get my child back, and hold the officials who violated my civil rights responsible. And that's my mission, people. I got to hold these people responsible. Because if you don't hold them responsible, people, they're just going to do it to someone else. And you ain't going to do it to someone else on my watch. If you're corrupt, if you're a liar, if you falsify documents in order to hurt somebody, you're my enemy. Joseph Quirk, you're my enemy. Michael McMahon, you're my enemy. Victor Allen Brown, pastor of Mount Sinai Church, you scumbag, manipulative bastard, you're an enemy to me and my mother. And there are many people who are my enemy because they wronged me. There's nothing wrong with accepting someone as your enemy who wronged you, people. If someone wrongs you, you have the right to consider them your enemy. And I consider many people my enemy after wronging me. On behalf of justice and the message and mission to empower victims, I am Clayton Howard on behalf of Operation Rock, signing off today, telling my audience to stay strong, keep God before you, and remember, it's always darkest before the dawn, but fuck, it feels good to step into that dawn when it finally comes. People, stay strong, stay positive.